Like you're ready to make big moves, but not sure where to start? If so, you're in the right place. Welcome to the 12 Days of Career Goals, the leading online conference for advancing your career and reaching your career goals in 2025. I'm 𝗍𝗲 White, career clarity expert, 5-time certified career coach, and your host of the 12 Days of Career Goals. We are bringing together 21 of the most respected career growth experts to deliver the actionable steps, insider strategies, and confidence you need to land big wins in your career. From exclusive live sessions and video replays to a Slack community of like-minded professionals and practical resources you can implement right away, this conference is packed with everything you need to turn your career dreams into reality. And the best part? It's completely free if you register by December 30th. So grab your spot and let's dive into the 12 Days of Career Goals. Welcome to day 2 of the 12 Days of Career Goals. Today's session is all about building a powerful personal brand. The secret to amplifying your visibility and showcasing your unique strength to the world. Whether you're looking to advance your career, pivot industries, or establish yourself as a thought leader, a compelling personal brand can open doors you never imagined. In this session, you'll discover actionable strategies to craft a brand that resonates, inspires, and accelerates your professional journey. Get ready to transform the way you present yourself and unlock opportunities that align with your goals. And it's an honor to introduce to you today's guest, 𝗍𝗂. From pivoting careers to scaling businesses, 𝗍𝗂 has spent over a decade transforming lives. As a career coach, business growth strategist, speaker, she's renowned for helping professionals unlock their potential through personal branding and networking. Her expertise has guided thousands to advance their careers at top companies and empowered career coaches to build thriving 6- and 7-figure businesses. Recognized globally as a LinkedIn top voice, top personal branding expert, and 11 times LinkedIn learning instructor with over 60,000 learners, 𝗍𝗂 has delivered 500 talks worldwide, including 7 at the United Nations, inspiring professionals to achieve extraordinary success. Welcome, 𝗍𝗂, to the 12 Days of Career Goals.
Hello, 𝗍𝗲. Thank you so much for having me. I am so delighted to be here today.
I could not be more excited for this conversation with you on personal branding, and I know the audience is going to get so much value out of our conversation. I want to start with tapping into a little bit your personal journey. You've guided thousands of professionals to amplify their personal brands and achieve incredible success. What's a moment in your own journey when your personal brand opened an unexpected door, and how did it shape your approach to helping others build their brand?
Great question. So I got into personal branding back in 2011, a couple months before my wedding. Early in my career back then, I landed a job with Google Canada as their first and only recruiter after getting laid off. Not by applying on an online application, but through a referral from a friend I met during my MBA program. My reputation and the relationships I had built opened that door. And fast forward to this summer, I landed a 6-figure executive coaching engagement to support a C-level executive at a billion-dollar company. And this opportunity came through a recommendation from a former client I worked with over a decade ago. So both examples highlight the same principles here of how our personal brand isn't just what you say, but it's what people say about you when you're not in the room. Your personal brand is about your reputation, relationships, and the results, which is really the foundation to personal branding. This is why I'm so passionate about teaching my clients to focus on building trust and delivering value to stand out and get more opportunities.
I love that, 𝗍𝗂. It's about what people say when you're not in the room. It is the reputation. It is what you're known for, and that can change everything. But I want to break it down for professionals who feel overwhelmed. As career coaches and business coaches, we talk a lot about personal branding. But for a lot of professionals, that can feel quite overwhelming. And where do you even start? Based on your experience, what is one key aspect of personal branding that can create a transformative impact on someone's career? What specific steps should they focus on to achieve meaningful results?
Absolutely. Well, one of my favorite things, I know this is one of the favorite things that you preach, Teresa, is about clarity. Clarity is key. So the key, the first step I would say is knowing exactly what sets you apart, what differentiates you, and be able to consistently communicate that to the right audience that transform how people see you from being a nice to have to being essential. Because when you are clear on what you're amazing at, which is your strengths, your core values, what's important to you, and the unique value that you bring, you attract those opportunities that align with your goals and desires. So clarity isn't just what you say, it's how you position yourself so that those others see you as the obvious choice, the go-to expert in your field. So for those who are career professionals, clarity might be showcasing your leadership skills or a track record of driving results and weaving that into your LinkedIn profile, your resume, or the networking conversations that you have. For entrepreneurs, it's about owning your niche and solving specific problems for your audience. Like a client of mine who refined her focus on leadership coaching for women in tech and grew her business to 6 figures in under a year. So clarity creates confidence, and confidence creates opportunities.
That is beautiful. Clarity creates confidence, and confidence creates opportunities. What a fantastic takeaway. And you know that I'm all about clarity. I strongly believe that this is really the foundation for everything, because we can't start even defining or creating a personal brand if we don't know where we aspire to go to. But once we're clear about where we want to take our next step to, then we can think about, okay, this is where I want to be in my next step. Now, what do I need to be known for to be seen as you said, the obvious choice for this position or this role or that profession? And then you can start defining what is the narrative that you want people to say when you're not in the room.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I want to ask the audience, what do you want to be known for? That's such a powerful exercise to do of what do you want to be known for? This is going to help you set the stage, set the tone for 2025 of what you want to build. For those who want to pivot their careers or pivot their business, when you get clear on what you want to be known for, you're going to double down on that messaging, whatever you're going to say. You're going to start talking about that in that direction, and people are going to remember you for that.
I love that. It's all about people remembering you. Now, once someone is clear about what they want to be known for, can you walk us through the step-by-step process of your signature method for someone starting from scratch to build their personal brand and how they can align that with their long-term goals?
Great question. So one of my signature brand framework, I love using acronyms. That's how I love teaching. So feel free to take a piece of paper or notebook to take down, is the brand framework, BRAND. So the first step is the B, which is all about being authentic. Being authentic. Authenticity is your superpower. You want to own your story, your core values, and your voice unapologetically. Unapologetically. People connect with authenticity because it's real and it's magnetic. I have this saying that you become more magnetic when you're authentic. Mm-hmm. You become more magnetic when you're authentic.
Yeah.
And so true authenticity is really that, what we call in studies shown, the highest vibrational frequency, where you are 4,000 times more powerful and attractive than love. So when you lead with true authenticity, you operate at the highest vibrational frequency and energy. And this alignment is what's going to attract you to those right opportunities, to the right people, and the circumstances in your life naturally. Okay, the universe is also going to respond to that energy that you have. Okay, helping you manifest whatever you want. And so maybe I'll share with you a few years ago, an example here is I started leaning into telling my story more, where I talked more about overcoming imposter syndrome when I grew up back and forth in Hong Kong and Canada. And I started leaning into that story more by talking about it online. And this really helped me connect better with my audience to build better trust, which I believe also what helped me to earn the LinkedIn Top Voice back in 2022, because I started being more real, that I'm not perfect, that I struggled as well. So that's the first piece, the B. The second is the R, which is refine your message. Okay, so we talked about clarity is important. Once we know what you're going after or who you're targeting, this is where you get clear on crafting the message that resonates with your target audience. What do they care about? What are their pain points? What kind of problems are they looking to solve? And you want to tailor that messaging to the audience. Okay. The third is the A, add value consistently. So this is something I'm really big on, adding value consistently. So this is where you pay it forward, help others, share your insights, tips, stories that would have an impact on others. Okay, so this could be whether it's sharing, let's say, LinkedIn content or helping each other out. Paying it forward, adding value is what people are going to remember you for. Okay. And the N is the network intentionally. So I'm really big on networking. I've been known as being the connector queen, relationship builder. I really believe that relationships are the lifeblood of your brand. Right? I always talk how everything happens through people. Opportunities, opening doors, solving problems, it's all through people. And so you want to nurture these relationships authentically and with care. Okay, so as an example, Teresa, when we think about this event, 12 Days of Career Goals event, it was curated with amazing speakers through the power of our network. People that I know, people that you know, who all wanted to be part of this amazing event was because we've nurtured this amazing relationships with people that we know. Okay, so that's the power of that, how things move smoothly. You are 5 times more likely to get hired through a referral. People are 5 times more likely to do business with you if they know you, if they trust you, or someone recommended you. Okay, so that's the power of that. And lastly is the D, which is delivering results. Your results are your reputation. It's your track record of success. It's the proof of what you bring to the table. So you want to share the impact of your work to build a trust and credibility. And so something that I'm really passionate about and I'm really proud of, like in the last several years or in the last decade, having helped thousands of clients now, is what I've become known for with my track record is really helping clients differentiate their unique brand and value, help them to build an impactful network so that will allow them to attract more next level opportunities where they earn 5 to 6 figures more than before, doubling their business, doubling their sales, building that 6 and 7 figure business. And so when you have that track record, that's when more opportunities will come your way. And so here's what I want you to take away, all of you, from this, is that when you align authenticity, clarity, value, relationships, and results, your brand becomes a magnet for opportunities.
I love this framework, Diana. So brand, being authentic, refining your message, adding value, networking, and delivering results. That really is an incredibly powerful framework, and it makes it very doable for anyone starting their personal branding journey. And one thing resonated, everything you said resonated so much, but one thing really stood out to me is refining a message and delivering results. It so aligns with my vision for when I help professionals of, let's be crystal clear where you want to go, and then figure out what is the problem you're going to be solving in that next role. Why are they going to hire you? And then let's show a pattern of success, how you solved that problem in the past. And that brings in you show that you delivered results, and you're seen as that ideal candidate for your next role.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what you just said here, why do they want to hire you? This is a great exercise for all of us to do, is why would someone hire you? What truly differentiates you? What are the benefits of hiring you? Yeah. So there's this saying is that features tell, benefits sell. So the features is more your skills, your experience, and your strengths, but the benefits is the so what. the so what. What kind of results do you help your employer or your clients achieve? What is that bottom line impact? And so when you can also quantify to qualify yourself, that's when the buying decision makes it much easier.
Yes. Buying decision, hiring decisions. And if in case anyone in the audience has missed yesterday's session on clarity with Jonathan Fields and finding your spark, go back and listen to that, because that ties into the so what. Yes, you have your skills and strengths, but who are you and how do you do the work you do differently? That is such an important part of differentiating you from others who might have similar skills, but don't bring the same value the way you do.
Yeah. And I love one of the things that Jonathan talked about was the inner work.
Yes.
Inner work versus the external work. And I talk a lot about the soul searching before job searching, right? When we get clear of what our soul tells us, of what matters to us, of what we want more of, what we desire, we light up, which ties back to the work that you do in Spark Tech Assessment, is that you feel more energized, you feel less drained, you're more excited in doing the work and serving whoever you want to serve. And that is so important. I feel like we spend how many hours? Like 1/3 of our lives doing work. And are we doing work that really lights us up and energizes us?
Yeah. And that goes back to authenticity. If we are clear about what we want to do and we know that this is going to be a role that energizes us and we can be our authentic self, we become magnetic to those opportunities. But the moment there's a misalignment and we're not where we really want to be or meant to be, it becomes like we're kind of walking through like a heavy, like thick sand or something. It's like just heavy to move forward. And so that clarity and then attracting it makes everything so much easier. Now, I have a question for you. And as someone who has coached people from mid-level professionals all the way to six-figures business owner, what's a common misconception people have about personal branding? And how do you help overcome them?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I would say a common misconception or challenge that people face is that personal branding is all about self-promotion, all about bragging about themselves. They often think that they need to constantly sell themselves to stand out. How many of you can relate to this? If you can, type in a +1 here. Another misconception is that personal branding is just about visibility. Posting on social media or being out there, while visibility is important, it's not enough. Because this is what I believe in, is that personal branding is all about creating genuine value and connections. It's about being valuable, not just visible. Your brand isn't just what people see. Well, it's nice, but it's what they feel when they interact with you. How do you want people to experience you? So something I always like to talk about is that personal branding is like wedding planning. It's a representation of who you are and how you want people to experience you. Now, in simple terms, personal branding, it's like reputation management and perception management.
Yes.
Okay. That's what it is. And so a lot of times people feel like, okay, I always just need to promote myself, but it's not. But it's really about how are you showing up? How are you living and breathing so that people trust you, like you, want to do business with you? And part of that, to build this brand that resonates, like one of the things that we talk about, this misconception, how do we build this brand that will resonate here, is share your expertise. Posting insights, tips that solve real problems for your audience, highlighting those results, the impact, right? These become like case studies, success stories, testimonials, and then engaging authentically. People can feel that. Like when you are truly treating it that people feel that you care, that you want to help them, that you're curious versus transactional, it makes a huge difference.
And sharing freely and sharing your insights, I love that. And it's something we as professionals do a lot. But something that just blew me away after day one yesterday of this event is how many attendees shared on LinkedIn about their key takeaways from the session. And this is so powerful because now you're sharing with the world that you are investing in your career, you are learning, you are growing, and that is building your brand.
I agree, because you are showcasing that you have a growth mindset, right? That you're investing in your personal growth and development, that you want to up level your skills. And when we think about in today's market, employers want to know, are you upskilling? Are you leveling up? Are you doing things to make yourself more in demand, more marketable?
Yes.
So something that I like to talk about is personal branding. There is the visibility, but personal branding is not just about being the loudest or shouting the loudest. It's about being the most real, the realist. I don't know if that's a word, being most real, so that you really build that trust through value and meaningful connections. Like, this is something I really, really live by and stand by, because I really believe when you spend time in deepening those relationships, you're essentially building a brand of your legacy that will last like for a long, long time to come.
Yes. And that's a really important point with personal branding, right? It's not something you do once, you don't do today and you're done tomorrow. It is a long-term investment in your career. And now we've talked about visibility a couple of times. That can be scary for people. Building a personal brand often requires stepping out of our comfort zone, especially on platforms like LinkedIn. If one wants to build a personal brand online, or share a key takeaway from today's session, for example, on LinkedIn, what strategies can help someone overcome that fear of visibility and achieve really game-changing impact?
Great question. And I want to ask the audience, if you have a fear like of putting yourself out there, like just type that, the fear, so that we know. I want to know that you're not alone. One of the things I would say is a lot of times this fear of visibility, being seen, comes from a fear of judgment. What will people say about me? Or that fear of perfectionism, right? That I don't have things figured out yet. Right? So that's usually where it comes from. Or the fear of having that imposter syndrome, that I'm no expert, or I don't know, if I'm ready for that yet. I hear this a lot. If you can relate to this, type in a +1 here. So I would say the key is to focus on progress, not perfection. Think big, start small, right? So if you have the desire that you know that you're meant for more, that you're meant for to do bigger things, but you have this fear, start small. So you could be commenting on, posts, or commenting in this session right now, right? Resharing a article or about this event, or writing a quick update of what are your 3 key takeaways from today's session. Right? So it's less about thinking that it has to be about you, but how are you being of service to others? Because you never know how sharing one thought, one message, that could really shift the way people see things, or that you can have an impact on them. Right?
That is so true.
Yeah. And so I always like to think of, instead of thinking it's about you, focus on serving others. Service mindset instead of the selling mindset. When you shift that mindset from self-promotion to providing value, that fear of visibility would minimize, would fade. And then that confidence will grow. And so when I think about speaking on stages, like speaking in front of hundreds of thousands of people, in front of companies like the UN or Fortune 500 companies, I really come from the space of, how can I be of service to my audience, or even today's audience? Like, how can I be of best service to you? So it's less about me. It's really more about, what are people thinking right now? What are their challenges? What are some insightful, practical tips that I can offer? What are some great stories that I can tell? And what's my key message?
Yeah. And that really helps, knowing that you don't have to make it about yourself, but about being of service to others. What an important point. And another way I always think about it is, when you know 10% more about something than someone else does, share it. You don't have to be the expert, right? You attended today's session. You know 10% more about personal branding, at least, than someone who has not attended the session. So share it with them, and that builds your visibility. So it is not just the topics that you are the world's best expert in, because we are not. There's always someone who's going to know more than us or have a different take on it. But we can share what we know if that helps others.
Yeah, I love what you said about that 10%. Right? You don't have to be that expert, but sharing like what you just learned. Like even for example, the brand formula that I just shared today, BRAND framework, posting about that and what you learned from that, I think it's a great insider tip, right? For people like, well, these are the 5 things I should be doing to double down to build a powerful personal brand in 2025 that will help me attract more opportunities and increase my earning potential. Just sharing that, I think, would really be helpful to anyone in your network.
Exactly. Absolutely. And Diana, you just mentioned that you've spoken at organizations like the United Nations and trained thousands of people globally. What advice would you give to professionals who want to take their personal brand to that next big level so that it really resonates with potential hiring managers, industry leaders, or whoever they want to attract?
Yeah. Okay. So for those who want to take things to the next level, type in the next level here. So this is what I believe here is that whether you realize it or not, you already have a personal brand.
Mm-hmm.
It's whether you're intentional about it or not. And if you really want to elevate your brand, take things to the next level, this is where you want to get intentional. What you want to get intentional on is focus on credibility, building the credibility through thought leadership. So this is less about promoting yourself, but creating either content or speaking that positions you as that go-to authority or expert. And this will help you future-proof your career. So something that I have seen the last several years, Teresa, is if we look at even the job market, this just past year, it has been a tough job market for many. And those who have in the last year or two who started posting content, sharing insights from their profession, it could be, let's say you're a data analytics expert, recruiting expert, or supply chain expert, to start sharing and build their brand and build their audience. And when their career is impacted, let's say that if they got laid off, I have found and seen that those are more likely to get opportunities faster, whether it's a new job or whether it's starting their own business. And so I really want to encourage everyone here is to really think about how can I start building thought leadership and credibility by building my online personal brand. And so this could all start with using a platform like LinkedIn to share insights about your field to stay top of mind. The key here is how do I stay top of mind with your hiring managers, recruiters, or your clients? That's really the key here. And then for those who are in business, like business owners, is really create that value-driven content. I call it value-driven content or trustworthy content that will help attract opportunities, whether it could be clients, brand partnerships, speaking engagements, or digital products. Yeah. And I'll share with you this story. This is about thought leadership we're talking about here. And this is a very interesting story that I found. The way I landed my first talk at the UN, the United Nations, a couple of years ago, was through a client who hired me for interview coaching. That person found out about me through her friend who followed me on LinkedIn. And so that I did that one talk for the UN in front of like hundreds of people. They loved it. That then led to 3 other talks that summer. And then that then led to, because I posted about it, led to me speaking for UNICEF. And that, because of that post, it led to me speaking for other Fortune 500 companies. And so when we think about next level of how having this ripple effect impact that you can't quite predict, but if you know that the benefit of this is that you want to double down, is there's going to be this ripple effect impact of what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. And when I started even sharing that, when I spoke for the UN, it was also what led me to becoming a LinkedIn Learning instructor in 2022 on creating this course on presenting with confidence, because I was speaking more. So that was my first course. And then because my background has been in career pivoting, helping professionals pivot their careers, my second course was pivoting your career, how to pivot your career effectively. So that was my second course. And then I thought to myself, well, I had 2 courses in over a year. Why not that's when I started pitching. I was like, okay, now I know, I have no other topics. Last year, I pitched myself over 30, maybe 50 topics, got rejected multiple times, but by multiple follow-ups, I got 10 courses approved for LinkedIn Learning Nano courses. So last year, I created 10 courses on personal branding, which is my wheelhouse, digital networking, it's also my wheelhouse, communicating your value, navigating bias and stereotypes as an Asian professional. Those are some of the courses that pitched that I got approved. And so that then allowed me to reach a bigger audience, which then helped me to pivot to what I'm doing now as a business coach, because I've served as a career coach for 10 years. And part of creating those content and courses helped me transition and serve the job seeker market or career professional markets as well.
This is incredible, Diana, from posting on LinkedIn and putting yourself out there, all the success following. I wonder, when you first started creating content, did you think this is what's going to happen?
Not at all. Not at all. I started posting content, I think, back in 2012, 2013. I was sharing blog posts, like back then, like creating blog posts. I was just sharing it back then. And then 2018, I started creating video content using mobile. And I got hooked because I was like, okay, I like speaking. So I started creating video content, did this 10-day challenge with 10 videos. And since then, I just started creating content. And what I have found for me now, the reason why I do it now is like, I really love connecting with people. Mm-hmm. And I also love to make an impact in people. Like, this is something I know true to myself, is that whatever piece of content I put out there, I think about what's the message? What's the story? What's the angle? It's not just posting for the sake of posting. I really want to think about, how can I relate to the audience? And so for me, it's less about having to create viral content or building a huge audience, but really building a trustworthy audience. So something I'm really proud of is over the years is I have people who followed me for the last 10 years still on my email list. Or I have people who follow me and tell me, like, Diana, I followed you for 9 years and now I'm finally ready to work with you. And so that is the long-term impact that I didn't even realize back then when I first started, that now I realize how important and essential it is. I really see personal branding as, it's like an insurance.
Yeah.
Future-proofing your career and your business and in today's market.
Yeah. It's beautiful to see what it has done for you and how it has the potential to do that for everyone here listening in. And I want to share a brief example of a client I worked with recently. She was really curious about how the world of SEO, search engine optimization, a marketing topic, without getting too technical, is impacted by AI and ChatGPT and all these platforms. She knew nothing about it when she started, but she was curious about it. So she started learning, watching YouTube videos, reading about it, reading blogs. And then in the beginning, once a week, eventually twice a week, she started sharing what she found out on LinkedIn. 6 months later, she had 4 job offers for SEO roles. She didn't apply to any roles. She didn't do anything to actively search for those roles, but just because she was learning and sharing with others what she's learning, opportunities opened up. And that's the possibilities.
That is the possibility. That is the power. You just reminded me, I had another client, this was a long time ago, from Job Seeker, a digital marketer, working at an ad agency for 10 years, but he had no social media presence, but he was advising other companies. And something I advised him to do was, why don't you start sharing your insights, create like a post or LinkedIn articles. He actually wrote 3 LinkedIn articles as case studies. And just by doing that, he got over a dozen interview opportunities. When he reached out to people on LinkedIn, he got a faster response, was able to get coffee chats quickly, was able to schedule those interviews much more quickly. Part of it is because credibility, trust. And so if there's one thing I can get people to think about when we think about personal branding in simple terms, is how do you increase the trust factor for people when they first hear about you, see you, or see your online presence, is do they still want to engage with you or not? That's what it really is increasing the trust factor so that it will allow to get those opportunities faster.
Yeah. And imagine going in for a job interview for a role that you really, really want. And the recruiter and hiring manager then look at your LinkedIn profile and they see that consistently for the last 6 months, once a week, you shared actionable advice on a topic. And if that topic is related to the role you're interviewing for, how much more trust have you built before they even met you than if you go in with they know nothing about you, or they know very little about you. It's incredibly powerful. And if someone's following you for that time, you already have you have the foot in the door.
Yeah. It's a conversation starter.
Yeah. Now, Diana, what is your advice for professionals who feel it's too late to start building their personal brand? They already achieved success, made a meaningful impact, or they've moved up in their career, and they are now wanting to start building their brand. Is it too late? Is there a time when it is too late? And what do you do?
Great question. So I would say it's never too late, right? Your experience is your greatest asset, right? There's no expiration date on showcasing your expertise when you think about it, right? Like every chapter of your career adds to your unique story, right? So whether you're stepping into a new industry, pivoting a new role, re-entering your workforce, starting a new business, your lived experiences and the lessons that you've gained throughout the years are incredibly valuable to others. The key here is to start small. Take those baby steps. Start what you already know. Connect with others who already know you and those who can benefit from your service and your skills, and you build from there. It's the key here is really also that authentic storytelling, because I really believe that your story is really, really powerful, right? Because it's uniquely to you. No others will have that same story. And so all the wisdoms and insights that you've gained over the years can really resonate deeply with someone. And it could really open doors that you've never expected. Okay, so to me, building your brand isn't about starting over. It's about reframing and amplifying the value that you already bring. That's what it is. Like, people may not see it, but you just need to be more intentional about it and sharing that and showcasing that. So really the best time to start is now. Like for those, I want you to type in 2025, like 2025 is my year. 2025 is my year, right? Set that intention. 2025 is my year. It's my time, right? The best time to start is now.
Yeah.
Right? Share your voice, share your expertise, share your perspective. I feel like it's now more needed than ever now, right? Share that unique perspective, have a stance. What do you believe in? What do you stand for? Believe that your power of your story, right? It's never too late to make an impact.
I agree, Diana. It's never too late. And I want to ask you something. We touched on that earlier, but there are so many people that I talk to every day with, and I'm sure you have the similar experience, who feel like, who am I? My story isn't important. I'm not, it's a different version of I'm not enough. Who am I to share this? There's someone who knows more, who would want to know about my story. What is your message for anyone who feels anything that falls under this imposter syndrome of I'm not enough or I'm not good enough to share my story? What is your words of wisdom for them?
Oh, that's such a great question. I feel like one of the biggest challenge that I see, what you just shared, is most people don't value themselves enough or don't love themselves enough or acknowledge themselves enough. So I would say the first step is to value yourself more. And so one of the things that I love talking to clients and working on exercises, that this is part of helping you build more confidence of how to own your value more. So the first step is taking time to identify your value. Write out the list of things that you're proud of. Ask yourself, what would have not happened if I wasn't there, right? To help identify that value. Just really listing those things out, identifying, okay? And what I find is most of the time, people just by doing that, they still may not believe it. Okay, this first step is just writing it down and sharing it, right? So then this next step is what I call believing it, which is really the mindset. We need to reprogram our mindset and shifting from, a lot of times people say, well, that was just part of my job. I'm just doing this thing because it was my part of my job. No big deal. And so we need to acknowledge and believe in our own value. That's the second piece, is believing it, okay? Because if you don't believe it, how do you get others to believe in you? It's a really, really important shift. Okay, you write it down, but then you believe it. And when you believe it, how does that feel? How are you going to show up differently? It's going to be so much more different, right? And so then the third step is voicing your value, communicating your value. Start talking about your value. Yes, has a bit of more of that promotion vibe to it, the selling piece, but you do need to convey your value, which is from the piece of being of service. How it's a disservice if you don't talk about it. How when you think about when you're sharing your value, you are actually making a difference and an impact in this world. And so when you can even just start shifting that of seeing your own value, like owning your light, owning your power, that changes the game for everything. Right? And this is when we think about our body language, our tone of voice, of how we show up makes a difference. And I'm going to share this with you. Like when I first started, like because English is not my first language, I was shy or quiet in speaking class. I had the softest voice in class. It's part of because I didn't believe in myself. I didn't believe that I could speak fluently and all that. But I knew I wanted to become a speaker. And so part of it was I need to start believing myself as an impactful motivational speaker, start believing in that. And then what I also did was start practicing speaking more. And that's when I started my own live stream show, creating more video content. Part of it is getting myself to become more brave and more confident speaking in front of a camera. Like I was not born like this at all. Like I had major imposter syndrome. I grew up always feeling not enough because growing up in Asian culture where everything was just always, you got to get the A's, the 100%, it always had to be perfect. And so I had to really work through a lot of that. I am not enough. And what I've discovered is when I start loving myself more, acknowledging myself more, and why prioritizing myself as a strategic priority, like the self-care piece, that changes the game.
Thank you for sharing that, Diana. And there was one question that you suggested, and I want to suggest that to everyone here in the audience. When you think about something that you've done at work, and it feels like I just did that because it's part of my job, it's not significant, it's not a big accomplishment, I just did it because I did that of my job. Now, ask yourself, what would have happened if you didn't do that? Would the outcome have been different if you didn't do that? Well, if the outcome would have been different if you didn't do that, you had an impact. You had a valuable achievement that is worth sharing with others. Yeah. And as Diana said, owning that value and sharing it with the world is so important in building your personal brand.
Yeah. Something that you just said that I think it's good to reemphasize is the difference between when we're talking about ourselves of the responsibilities, like what did I do versus what did I do differently, or how did I make a difference? And I think that really shifts our brain of the language that we use, right? So we talk a lot about, instead of just thinking of all the responsibilities in your job, right? Which is really, you don't really stand out when we think about it, but to truly stand out is about, okay, through your unique skills and talents, how did you make things better? And so a great way to think about it is think of times when you help the company or to make more money, save time, improve client relationships. Like what are those metrics of success that you can talk about? And that way, then you're really thinking, oh, that's the impact that I've made through this initiative, through this project.
100%. And I have one more question for you, Diana, but I also want to encourage the audience that we're going to be moving into Q&A very soon, and all questions are welcome. There are no stupid questions. Everything here is welcome. So please drop your questions in the chat. And Diana, for the last question, I would really want to know if someone implements just one of your personal branding principles starting today, what's the one habit or the one mindset shift that you believe will make the biggest difference for them in their career in 2025?
Fantastic question. And there's one thing that you can take away from today is to really show up more consistently as your authentic self. That's like big, but if you can just show up more authentically as your most authentic self and align your actions with your core values and your desires and what lights you up, and you start taking the small intentional steps every day, you're going to see a big, big difference.
Being authentic, how powerful. And for me, authenticity is almost like an onion where you always peel a layer and you discover more about yourself that you share with the world. And continuously doing that and showing up authentically is so incredibly powerful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
We got amazing questions here from our audience already. So I'm going to start bringing some of those in. The first questions that we got is, can you share strategies for tailoring your personal brand across different scenarios, interviews, elevator pitches, casual chats, social media, to align with your personal goals and what you want to be known for?
Oh, great question. Okay, so there are different types of strategies. So first of all, when we start with like, what do you want to be known for, right? So that's the arc of what do you want to be known for, right? So for example, let's say for me, like I want to be known for personal branding and being the relationship connector. Okay, like that's just say that's what you want to be known for. Then you ask yourself, well, what am I going to double down on? Right? What am I going to double down on? And so what I would double down on then is I'm going to start talking about more about these topics, right? To say on personal branding and networking and what you want to be known for. But you also want to actually demonstrate it through living it. Like, how do you embody personal branding as an example? How do you embody being a great relationship builder? Okay, so you got to walk that talk as well. Now, when I look at these around examples of interviews, elevator pitches, casual chats, is you want to what we call like master your glowing introduction. So this is what we call it's like that your soundbite of how you want to introduce yourself. So the best way simplest way I'm going to teach all of you to think about this is think about your personal branding statement. This is like a 20-second introduction about you. And I'll give you a simple template. You'll say, I'm name, 𝗟𝗡𝗿𝗃, and then you add in your niche, your title, whatever that is. So I'm a personal branding expert, where I'm known for. So add in where I'm known for. So I want you to think about what are you known for? If you're not sure about this, I want you to send out a survey to people to understand what you're known for, what value they see in you. Okay, so this is where you come up with 3 sound bites. So this is what be my sound bite. So I'll say, I'm 𝗟𝗡𝗿𝗃. I'm a personal branding and networking expert, where I'm known for helping you differentiate your value, build an influential network so that you get more amazing opportunities and earn more.
Okay, that is fantastic, Diana.
And that's like a soundbite, a personal value prop statement that you can come up with. And that's going to help you then with conversations. So be like, oh, so tell me more. And this is when you were building stories. So think of stories that back up this case of what you're trying to build, of what you're known for, and give stories and proof around that. Right? The proof is what's going to build that trust that you know what you're talking about, that you've done this.
And Diana, I want to give this a try, what you just taught us. So we have not practiced this before. So for me, that would go, I'm Teresa White. I am a career clarity expert and 5-time certified career coach. And now you said I want to add 3 sound bites to it for what I want to be known for.
Yep.
Number 1, I guarantee my clients career clarity in just 30 days. I'm known for my empathetical yet practical approach. And I'm known for consistently having my clients' call session is epiphanies and answers to questions they've been asking for years.
I love it. Can we break this down as an analysis?
Yes, please.
For everyone, this is a really good case study here. So you also had what we call the accolade, a 5-time certified in there when you start to introduce yourself. So anything that you have an accolade, that's also a great way to let them approve. And what you just did, the three things, and this is what people can think about, is there's the, you talked about the empathy piece. That is what we call the soft skills that we're highlighting, which is great, right? The other is the guarantee of clarity in 30 days. That is something very strong statement, like that promise that you're giving, right? So that we know you're confident with the work that you do. And then what was the third one? The third one was
my clients consistently call my sessions epiphanies and an answer to questions they've been asking for years.
Love it. Feedback from others. What do people say about you? People can't deny that when you're saying, what my clients tell me, what people say about me is this. And so that feels probably less awkward because other people are telling this is what you're known for. So when you send out even a survey to your clients, to your colleagues, It's eye-opening exercise. Like ask some questions like, what words would you describe me? How would you describe my communication style? What problems do you typically come to me for? What value do I bring? Just send out like a survey through Google Survey here, and that will give you some like what we call keywords for you to identify patterns and sound bites. That will then help you come up with these 3 compelling value prop statements.
I love that, Diana. And I think doing the survey is also really interesting to see if what others see in you, is that the thing you want to be known for? It also can really help you with the clarity is maybe there's an alignment and that's fantastic. You're known what you want to be known for, but maybe there's a misalignment. And I think that happens, and we're going to cover that in more depth in future sessions on this 12-day event. Is, are you maybe known for working really hard, but you're not known for your leadership skills, but you want to step into leadership? So once you identify that misalignment, how can you shift that narrative? And how can you position you for what you want to be known?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Teresa, I see an interesting question here. I wonder if we can answer this one about,
of course,
how can I embrace my dynamic and energetic nature rather than feeling the need to downplay myself or make myself small in response to others' perceptions? Okay, so what I'm reading here is, how do I be my most authentic self than downplaying so that you could respond to others how people see you, right? Is that how I'm interpreting this question? So I feel like there's definitely some fear. There's some like, what's holding you back? I think the key is like, what could be maybe holding you back, where you feel like you may not be able to be your most authentic self, right? Could it be, I know, I'm just thinking for myself, like growing up, I feel like I was always like that quiet person, or the person who, the good girl listening to everything and feel like, okay, like I should not be speaking up. And so part of it is we need to peel the onion of uncovering what could be actually holding us back that doesn't allow us to be our most authentic self, just by understanding that. And from there, we need to start essentially going back to acknowledging and loving ourselves. That is really, really key. And you know what? I'm going to give it an example. This is probably going to resonate pretty personable to me, I would say. Just was 2 years ago when I went on a women's retreat in Paris. And one of the big breakthrough moment for me was really owning my own body and voice, meaning owning the way I showed up, how I looked. And for longest time, I felt like I was not wearing dresses after I had my kids because I felt like I gained a lot of weight. And the breakthrough moment was for me to see my own beauty at this stage of my life and my career.
Oh my God, I love that.
I'm having goosebumps when I'm telling this, because it was for me to see my own beauty of that. Yes, I can wear dresses and still look beautiful at this stage in my life. It was maybe simple shift, but that transformation of just even seeing myself in a different way of showing up allowed me then to show up as my authentic self. Like that, even now I call it, I'm in my more feminine era of like wearing beautiful dresses, showing up authentically, speaking up, sharing my own voice, speaking from my heart versus my head. Right? I think for the longest time I was speaking from my head because I felt like, well, English is not my first language, so therefore I need to make sure everything is perfect. And so part of it was dropping that narrative and embracing how I would speak, or learning how to, for me, like teach in a way that I love acronyms because that's how I learned English. So embracing that unique side of you versus thinking that, oh, people will judge me. Now, this is something I would say takes a long time to uncover. Even for me, I felt like it took me years for me to have this the breakthrough. Even for me last year when I created the course on navigating bias and stereotypes as an Asian professional, it was one of the hardest courses for me to create, because part of me was like, I don't really talk about this stuff. Like I'm a very cheerful person, talk about motivational stuff. And it took me a long time just to peel the layers of why this was so hard, was because I faced so much bullying and racism growing up that I had to deal with that kind of trauma as well in order for me to learn from it and teach others as well. And so I think this question is really a lot about self-awareness, personal growth, acknowledgement, loving yourself, and then stepping into our own light.
Yes, Diana, I want to add to something to this question on top. I love how you shared that there's a lot of inner work on this and in general, I think women have a harder time with this than men. Not generalizing it for everyone, but I see this quite often, that we feel like we need to dim our light so we don't make the people around us uncomfortable. That is something I had to overcome for myself, is I'm not going to no longer make myself small just to make others comfortable. I'm not serving anyone that way. But the thought, as you were speaking, Diana, that came to my mind, and it so speaks to a current client I was working with over the last couple of months, is she has a very dynamic and big and energetic nature. And she always, when she went to work, she always had to put on a mask. She felt she could never be herself. And she was so tired of that, of not being able to be herself. So the big focus we had with her was finding a work environment where she is embraced for who she is. And that is, for me, is surrounding yourself with the people in that right environment who value you for who you are, who embrace you, who hire you for the person you are, all of you. And you might not think it's possible, because my client did not think it's possible 4 months ago when we started working together, but I promise you it is. There are places where you can be you and where you're cherished and celebrated and valued for exactly who you are.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I saw a video yesterday, and I think this ties into owning your light, being true to who you are when you're presenting and speaking, is to take up more space, right? Part of it's to taking up more space, using more body language, right? Because that speaks louder than words, and also increasing your vocal presence or voice, right? And so, like, even you, Teresa, I think I messaged you, is that I've seen you grow so much this past year as your business mentor and coach and friend, that I have seen you grown in your presence, that you're really owning your strengths, your talents, and your voice. Like, I can see that there's a deeper resonance. And part of it, I see the growth is also boldly showing up more fully and asking and being courageous. Like, when I think about this event, like, I've seen how much you've grown in stepping out of your comfort zone. And when you do that, what happens? Tell us, like, when we think about your transformation for you, what has unfolded for you this past year?
Oh my God, it's everything. This event is such a dream come true for me. And if you would have told me a year ago that I would host a 12-day speaker series, which is now the leading online conference for career advancement, with speakers including you, Diana, Jonathan Fields yesterday, Melody Wilding. We have these incredible speakers. A year ago, I would have ran. I was like, there's absolutely no way I'm capable of doing this.
Yeah.
And look at me now.
Yeah.
I'm having the time of my life. And
There you go.
there were a lot of moments that, and you know that, Diana, that I had to a huge step out of my comfort zone and make bold asks. And
totally.
The crazy thing is, most of the boldest ask I've made, people just say yes.
Yes. That's a key lesson, is to be bold and to ask. And I want to use this as a lesson, as a case study, like seeing you as like even running this event. And when we just ties back to personal branding of this topic here, is I really believe the importance of having a high standard of excellence and quality, right? It's not about perfect, but when I think about getting someone to be on board to help you, this ties back to relationship building, is that you first need to showcase that you have this clear vision and mission of why you're doing something. Why does this matter? And how do we get people on board? But you also want to be able to showcase that you're delivering something of great quality and service that people want to be behind. And so when I think about why I'm so excited, or why I was like, I'm going to help you as well to get the speakers, to promote it, part of it is because you've also built that trust and credibility. You've proven yourself that, okay, I believe you're going to deliver something of high quality. And I think this message holds true for any, like in today's market as well, is if you want people to help you, to be do a favor for you, or to introduce you to others, we need to really focus on building some relationships, but also have that track record that, that you're reputable, you're reliable, that you're trustworthy, that people are willing to be part of something that you want to do there. And that's the key message when I think about personal branding, is having also that high standard of excellence.
I agree. Yes. And it's part of your reputation. And it is something that I'm known for. I'm known for having a very strong brand. I'm known for having a high standard of excellence. I'm known for delivering a high quality of value. And that, as you said, it does attract. And now that you said that, that was a really eye-opening for me, that if I wouldn't have built that reputation for myself, this wouldn't be possible.
Exactly. Exactly. And so it's these little things, and we talk about these little things that you do, it's like the breadcrumbs that people see as proof to essentially they'll think about, do I want to be associated with you? Do I want to be part of this?
Yeah.
Other. Right. And something I've been so impressed, Teresa, like I want to take acknowledge, was like everything from planning to communication to the marketing and all that. I feel like everything has like that next level touch to it. I can tell that it's heartfelt. I think that's the consistency. And that's something I want to encourage all of us, whatever we choose to do, is to have that. Right. And that's how you really get to work with amazing people, get amazing opportunities.
That's such a beautiful note to end on, Diana. And I would love for the audience to know how they can connect with you and learn more about your work.
Absolutely. So the best way is to follow me and connect with me on LinkedIn at 𝗟𝗏_𝗟𝗲. You can follow me and send me a message, a free DM there. Or you can also visit my website at mymarketability.com, mymarketability.com. The other is also check out LinkedIn Learning. I have 11 free LinkedIn Learning courses from personal branding, digital networking, communicating your value, presenting with confidence. So check those out. I know there's a different audiences here. I pivoted from career coaching to business coaching. So a lot of the work right now I do is focus on helping people to build and scale their businesses. But I still do work around interview coaching, something that I really, really proud of. My favorite part of it is helping people to position themselves for success and how to differentiate there. So that's something, the work that I still do to this day.
Thank you, Diana. And if you're not following Diana yet, highly recommend following her on LinkedIn. You share very high quality content day after day. And there is so much value the audience can gain from following you and following your journey. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom, advice, and insights with us today here at the 12 Days of Career Goals.
My pleasure. Such a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me, Teresa. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you, Diana. That means the world. And what an incredible session. What an incredible session. A huge thanks to Diana for sharing her expertise on how to build a powerful personal brand. From actionable strategies to step-by-step guidance, today's conversation has shown us that personal branding is not just a career enhancer, it really is a career accelerator. As you reflect on today's insights, remember this: it all starts with clarity. Once you're clear about where you want to go, and then can communicate and design your personal brand to align with that, your career success is guaranteed. And your personal brand is really about how you communicate the clarity you have for yourself to the world. It's about aligning your unique strength with your goals to create lasting impact. Before we go, I want all of you to take 3 steps. First, reflect on today's key insights and write down the strategies that resonated with you most in your 12 Days of Career Goals guidebook. Number 2, identify one specific action step that you are going to implement. Maybe that's revisiting your LinkedIn profile. Maybe that is reaching out to a connection. Maybe it's refining your value proposition. And write it down. Again, there is a space in the 12 Days of Career Goals guidebook where you can write down the specific action steps that you will take in 2025. And then last but not least, make sure to join the conversation in our Slack community, where you can share your key takeaways and connect with others on this journey. The link to our Slack community is in your emails. Thank you all for being part of this journey. We'll see you tomorrow for another exciting session of the 12 Days of Career Goals, where you will learn how to unlock opportunities